Today we are going to review order of operations. Order of operations are the steps that it takes to solve an expression. So we start off with usually using something like please excuse my dear Aunt Sally to help us remember the order. The first order being P, which are parentheses, any grouping symbol. So our grouping symbol can be parentheses, brackets, braces, even a fraction, because the numerator is grouped above and the denominator is grouped below. Next would be our exponents. Exponents are the small raised number that tells us how many times to write the base, and then we multiply. So for an example, 2 to the third power would be 2 times 2 in expanded form, equaling 8. A lot of times we rush and we want to say that's 2 times 3, and we get it wrong. So always take the time to expand that out if needed. Next is multiply or divide. A lot of times we get that confused thinking you multiply and then divide, but it is or, depending on the order left to right, whichever comes first in the problem. So always think of them like as running a race. Whoever's in front, that's the one you do first, whether it's multiply or divide. Same for adding and subtracting. So here we go. Let's practice some examples here. And I just tried to come up with as many examples that you might run across, let's say on your SAT or just in class in general. And every time I solve an expression, I write PEMDAS. And remember, the more you write it, the more you know it. So I always box my multiply or divide, add or subtract, and draw my arrows. Okay. So when we have double grouping symbols, like you see here, we have brackets and parentheses. What you want to do is work inside out. So I'm focusing all on my grouping symbol, and I work on the inside out. So I'm going to start on these inside grouping symbols, the parentheses, and I still follow order of operations. So inside this problem, I have adding and multiplying. I just have to ask myself, according to order of operations, what comes first? Okay, well, I will multiply before I add. And I like to mark them off as I go. It's like a check-off list until you get to the end. Okay, so I will copy everything down, but I will replace the 2 times 3 with a 6. And then I continue on. Again, working with my grouping symbols inside out. I will now take care of that adding, copy everything down, and 4 plus 6 is 10. Now when I'm down to my one number inside the grouping symbols, I can drop the parentheses now. Okay, I still have grouping symbols. I have brackets, so I will take care of that step next. And I get 16. I may drop the brackets now that I don't have anything. I only have one number inside. And now I'm just going to continue kind of checking off these steps here. Okay, I don't have any parentheses. I'm done with parentheses. I have no exponents, multiply or divide. I have multiplying, and I have no adding. So my last step will be to multiply 16 times 5, and I get 80. And you're going to notice that it funnels down to one answer, and I did not put an equal sign anywhere. By definition of an expression is they have no equal sign. That's what sets them apart from an equation. Okay, let's continue on here. Example 2. Again, I'm writing my PEMDAS because it changes depending on the problem. Okay, so again, I have parentheses, I have grouping symbols. Inside my grouping symbols, I do the inside one, and then I'll work outward. So 3 plus 3, bring everything down. I still have grouping symbols, so I'm focusing inside my brackets still. Following order of operations, I multiply before I add. check off. I'm not done inside my brackets, so I'm continuing to bring those down. Still have my brackets. My last step will be to add. Okay, my grouping symbols are gone. I have no exponents. I don't have multiply or divide. I'm down to my last step, add or subtract. And in this case, I am adding. So as you're solving order of operations, you'll see they will funnel down to one term, and that's how we know we are done. Now, if they're algebraic expressions, you might have, an x plus 23 after combining like terms. So this is just a numerical expression, so it's only numbers. So I will have a number in the end. Okay, here we go. Starting again, grouping symbols. Inside my double grouping symbols, I work inside out. Four plus 1 is 5. Again, when I get down to one term inside of my parentheses, I can drop those. I still have my grouping symbols. Mark those off. Once I'm down to one term, I can get rid of my brackets. All right, I do have exponents this time. So just be mindful if you are one that rushes and says 3 times 2 is 6. Slow down, take your time, expand it out, just to prevent you from making that silly mistake. And I get 15 plus 9 times 5. Okay. Next, multiply or divide. And I have multiply. So I get 15 plus 45. Last step, add or subtract. I have adding. Feel free to pause the video, rewind, whatever you need. Okay, we're going to add 2 more examples, and throughout the year, if we come across some that we're like, hey, we really need to practice that, we can always add to this later. All right, 3 times 4 plus 2 plus 3 times 4. Okay, please excuse my dear Aunt Sally. Left to right, left to right. Okay, grouping symbols first. I have brackets and parentheses, work inside out. My parentheses are inside my bracket. So that is my first step. Again, I like to mark my steps off as I go. So it's kind of like a check-off list. Okay, I still have grouping symbols, and inside my grouping symbols, I still follow order of operations. So exponents come before multiplying. Remember, slow down and expand that out if you tend to make silly mistakes on exponents. That is not 5 times 2, it's 5 times 5. Repeated multiplication. Okay, I still have grouping symbols, so that's my focus. Copy everything else on the outside, and 25 times 4 is 100. Now I can drop my brackets because I'm down to one term on the inside. Okay, next, exponents I do not have, so I can move on. Multiply or divide, I do have multiplication. So I will take care of that first. And I get 12 plus 100. And add or subtract, I have adding. Numerical expressions, you'll always work down to one number at the end. Again, if you have algebraic expressions, you have variables, you would combine like terms. So you could have more than one term in your answer. We will get to those in a different video. All All right, so one grouping symbol that I tend to forget to talk about are fractions, because they do separate our numerator and denominator, so it is grouping them. So we do want to focus on each of them in separate terms until they are simplified. So in this case, my grouping symbols is my numerator and then my parentheses. And since they're separate, they are not doubled up inside, one's inside the other, we can actually work those out in the same step. So they are separate here, so I can work left to right. And I get 22 over 2, 3 times 8, minus 9. Now I know I've been saying if you get down to one term, and you can drop the parentheses, but I can't here because of the 3 being multiplied. Remember, next to means multiply, so that those parentheses need to stay there for right now. Okay, I have no exponents, so multiply or divide left to right. So looking left to right here, big arrow, left to right, I have division first. Every fraction's division, and then I have multiplying because next to means multiply. So I get 11 plus 24 minus 9. Add or subtract left to right. I'm dropping a big arrow here. Left to right, adding comes first. So again, think of it as running a race. Left to right, who comes first? Well, adding does. So that's why we'll add before we subtract. If it's vice versa, and the subtraction symbol and the addition symbol were here, then of course we would subtract first. And then our last step is to subtract.